So they'll be calling you a radical. I'm standing right here where the moose took his last breath and died. Why is this so significant? Because these freaks drive like psychopaths here, and it was one of those that killed him. This is important. He died right here. This is significant. I got my moose. A bull moose dying, being killed. Oh, it's hugely significant. So they still hunt right there. I hike there all the time. You know, I have cancer. That's my hiking path from LDS or from McKay across here. I do my research at the Stewart Library, as you know. There's ponds up in there. I hike there all the time. They've gone dry. They are hunting there right here today. There are bow hunters up there today. There is so much pressure on these animals, they have no chance. So, of course, this campus is built in foothills. There's lots of deer on this campus. There was 2 fawns 2 years ago. They all get killed. Cars, freak shows, cars. So I witnessed it, the whole thing. So it's so significant and it's heartbreaking. I was going to pick some wild native flowers and lay there where he died, the young bull moose, but there are no wild native flowers because it hasn't rained in 10 years. Now, for my audience, I'm going to be on KSL radio here in just a few minutes. So, watch 1160 AM, and it's on FM also. So, this drought is epic. He's in search of water. Moose have to have water. They're bottom feeders. They feed in the bottom of the spring. So he come across. Let's walk his path. It's very. I'll tell you why it's so significant too. The bull moose in any native culture or spirituality represents importance, significance. They move quietly. They move mysteriously at night. They're beasts. And I want to say this: the DNR they disgust me. Don't get me going. This Gibson character representative went to Weber, never went to Weber State. You know, my ongoing PhD, head of the DNR. How'd that happen? So Weber State Police did everything they could possibly. They were all over this. He moved right here so fast, and he almost made it. He was right there. I was standing right there on the grassy knoll, and he almost made it. You know, he would have been probably okay. Got down in here. Spent the night down in here into these neighborhoods. He was right here. He made almost all the way across Harrison. Boom. Of course, it was so dark. Weber State Police is already right there, got their lights on, but they're behind him because he's moving fast. They're trying. Weber State Police did everything in their power. DNR, don't even get me going on those days. Don't even get me going. So he almost made it. He was right there. Boom. I could hear it. It was so dark you couldn't, you know, visually see it. I shot, there's a video going why he's killed, but it's so dark you can't see anything. You know, I shot right before, you know, I'm there, I'm following him. So he came right through this path, and let's do this, because KSL is going to call me in a few minutes, and I'm going to do their radio show. And you know I'm going to talk Fukushima, because this is no coincidence, the drought. So he came right through here. And so this is their natural habitat. The Weber State Pond is man-made, but before the man-made concrete one, there was a natural one. So he came right here. This is right where he came. I followed him. So was her, the female officer. She did everything in her power. Weber State's police did it. They called the DNR. Talk to the DNR, what should we do? I talked to the DNR officer I stood there with the move. I said, look, they move at night. He's going to move at night. He won't move till it gets dark, and he moved right when it got dark. It's like I said, he hasn't got a chance. You know, Harrison, the way they drive, cops won't police it. He was headed to Matthew Stewart's house. Right there at the bottom is where the no-knock warrant nightmare happened. So he came right here. I'm standing right there. I run right up here. I shot that video right there. He comes across here. Young bull moose. He's a pretty healthy looking guy, but drought. How are they still hunting? The DNR disgusts me. Remember when they auctioned off the biggest mule deer in the world at Antelope Island and murdered him? For what, a little bit of money? Renewable Energy Force. Remember that name Gibson, the head of the DNR, with no college credit? How does that possibly happen? Under investigation for stealing money as a county commissioner? How does that happen? The club, that's how it happens. This, I'm telling you, something rotten in the New Denmark. You don't know corruption. So he came right here. He went right through there. So, it's significant. Stay with me. He came right here. This is significant because, you know, my uncle, who's Claude Blanche, Dick Conley himself, told me that he was the greatest athlete in the history of Weber County. You know, I talked to him yesterday. He's a famous fighter pilot, athlete, valedictorian, chemistry. He's dying right now in Alaska. He's from here. There's videos with he and I. His other fighter pilot buddies used to call him the Bull Moose. So he came right here. Now, this is important. Stay with me. The willow. There used to be 2 willows. There's one right there. And I bet it was that blew down. And you know, I named it Megan Rice during the Megan Rice trial. So some of the most significant videos in the history of mankind are shot right here. That's where I shoot my videos. As you know, the most important ones of all, the Fukushima. So he stood right there and was eating off that willow. I videoed it. I'm sure he broke that branch. I mean, how significant is that? You know my videos right here. They're line on line, so I'll be in KSL's ear right now about Fukushima. I didn't paint that. Somebody else did. So, then he came up out and he stood right the exact square inch where Kevin Blanche stands. And he just stood kind of. I know Native. I mean, I was raised by the Navajo. I was raised by the Shoshone, which used to call themselves Shoshone because they're Eastern Shoshone. You know, played in the wigwams. Watched this DNR freaking corruption. Oh, it's significant, this drought, my Spiral Jetty videos. So I love all the media calling me now. Tim Standard called me and I said, funny, Tim, you won't talk to me on anything else. You know, they all know me. I mean, so we'll see how this interview goes. But this is significant also for the signpost because, you know, I ran the radio station, me and Manny Gonzalez, and while I have cancer, fighting for my life at this university, the greatest investigative journalist in the state was the signpost, and KWCR 88.1 The Beat. I was full of leukemia in the bone marrow transplant center, dying 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I'm in a 10-year program, given 2 months to live. They sold off the signal. I went crazy. Me and Manny tried. We were digital. They've been working everything they can to kill, but that's the beauty of college radio. It rolls over with new people. So I talked to these people from the signpost out there at their table the other day, and I says, hey, I got them up to speed. We need to get some extra journalists. So she saw that video last night. They were ready to print this, you know, feel good, beautiful fairy tale story, and she saw my video of him being killed, and she called me. Well, we don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? You put that story up anyway. It's already up, and it's a great piece. They interviewed me. So it's significant because the most important videos in the history of mankind shot right where the bull moose stood. He's not that old of a willow, but she's tired and she's hurting. The ecology's out of whack. This drought, this epic acute hasn't been going on for years. The Spiral Jetty video is my proof. He's in search of water, and the hunters are up there. Bow hunters. I was just up there. I mean, I hiked there, and the DNR says, well, there's no road, there's nobody. I says, I'm up there all the time. Don't even get me going on the DNR. They disgust me. You know, the deer population collapsed in the last decade. Everything's collapsed, yet let's still hunt them. The Great Salt Lake's gone dry. They're freaking out there just slaughtering ducks and geese and migratory birds. Why do you think they come here? This is it. Before it was a cement pond, this is significant. Edward Abbey right there. Drinking when I'm a teenage kid with Edward Abbey right here, right here. He's laying on the grass. The girls picked some flowers and put it in his hair while he was taking a nap before he spoke. Right there. I had a conversation the other day. I'm standing by the tree, and this guy says, whoa, whoa. And I says, you know, they're draining off trying to kill the algae. And we started having a conversation right here, standing right here. He started to quote Edward Abbey. Growth for the sake of growth, the ideology of cancer cells, which he coined that term in the Stewart Library where Kevin Blanche does his work. I says, you know, he coined that term here. He went, what? And I got him up to school. Kevin Blanche, because the YouTube video is mightier than you can ignore my work. Who's the media? Who's the media? Who's the media? Who's the media? Here they are.